Sorry, that was harsh. I am getting a little bit frantic in all areas of my life. He gives her the nickname Trouble, and I just for some reason thought it was so cute. Hey y'all, I'm Rylan. Welcome to my channel. I'm starting a super fun reading vlog today. This is one of my 2 vlog potential ideas for the month of July, and we are going to be reading some books in honor of my bestie Staijah's birthday. Her birthday is on July 14th, which is 2 days after I see her, because she is going to be in town and be a part of my wedding, which is on July 12th. So I am hoping to read these books, film this vlog, and upload this video on her birthday in honor of her. I truly love Staijah, one of my best friends. We have been friends since 2020, right when COVID hit, and genuinely so thankful for her, and I am very excited to celebrate her in this way with a little video honoring her. Happy birthday, Staijah. You better watch this when it comes out on your birthday because it's gonna be awesome. But I have 3 books that I plan to read for today's vlog, all of which have been picked out by Staijah. These are some of her favorites or some books that she really enjoyed, and they were 3 books that I already owned when we talked about doing this vlog. So my goal is to read these 3 books so I can get this vlog ready before my honeymoon and in time for Staijah's birthday. First up, I'll be reading Enchantra by Kaylee Smith. This is the sequel to Phantasma, which follows our main character from that book's sister. Her name is Genevieve. I don't know what this one is about. I'm guessing there is another game that takes place. This is a very fun and easy romantasy series with real world elements. It takes place in the New Orleans area with those fantasy elements, those mystical games that take place in otherworldly places, and lots of romance, lots of mystery, lots of intrigue, and I cannot wait to dive into this one. Pretty much blind. I really enjoyed Phantasma, so I have high hopes for this one as well. Staijah read it super recently and loved it. I also will be reading Babymoon or Bust by Ava Hunter. This book was already on my summer TBR, so I need to get to it anyway because I made a video about that, which I have not read any of the books for yet, but we're going to with this video. So this is a one night stand leads into a surprise pregnancy between our 2 main characters, Tessie and Solomon. She decides that she's going to take a baby moon by herself before the baby is born. Solomon ends up joining her. They don't really have a relationship together, and they have a couple days to figure out how they're going to co-parent, or maybe they'll fall in love in the process. I don't tend to love the accidental / surprise pregnancy trope, but I did read a book last year that I really loved, and so I do think that I could grow to like the trope more. And Staijah gifted me this book a few years ago for Christmas or my birthday, and I really need to read it. So this is just another excuse to finally get to it. Staijah read it, really enjoyed it, and I hope that I will as well. And then finally, another recent read from her is Someone Knows by V. Keeland. This is a thriller about a professor who I guess has some secrets, and her story is about to come out. Probably whether or not she likes it. I got a copy of this book from Aardvark before I knew that Staijah had read it and really liked it, so I do plan to pick this book up in July for this vlog. I have not read a thriller by the author before, but I think it could be very fun and dramatic, and we'll see how it goes. These are the 3 books that I will be reading in honor of Staijah, 3 books that she has read and really enjoyed, and I think I will also enjoy them. We shall see though. I think I might pick up Someone Knows first. This book is very short at less than 300 pages, so I think I'm going to pick this up as my first read for the month of July. The way that my vlogs tend to work when I have multiple books is that I will update every 50%, so I will update y'all with a fuller and better synopsis when I reach the halfway mark in this one and give y'all my current thoughts on the book.
Till I get up, time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left. And
Hello y'all. I wanted to hop in here super quickly with my first update for Staijah's birthday vlog with my first book, Someone Knows by V. Keeland. Halfway through the book at this point, and I have to say I am hooked. To give a very quick synopsis, this is about our main character, Elizabeth. She's a professor at a university in New York City, and she is teaching these summer classes, and in one of her classes that is a fiction course, the students are required to write a novel over the course of the year-long class, I believe, and somebody in the class, she does not know who, is telling the story of something that Elizabeth did when she was a kid in high school that impacted her life forever, and she has no idea who can know her biggest secrets, who can know what she did when she was a senior in high school, and what their intention is behind exposing her through this quote-unquote fiction story. So Elizabeth is now looking for answers, trying to figure out who was after her and figure out who would want to dig up the past like that. So far, very addicting. Such a quick read. I love stories with mixed media, and we get to see that in here by reading those story chapters in different fonts and different formats, and I do enjoy seeing that in books, especially because my thesis was based on that earlier this year, so I do enjoy that aspect. Overall, I'm just finding this read to be very fun and engaging. I'm not taking it super seriously at this point. It's a very quick and easy thriller to get through. I have my predictions about things. There were a couple plot twists early on in the book that I was not expecting, and I cannot wait to see what happens with those. I'm very much enjoying it. I hope the second half of the book lives up to the first half, and that I haven't spoiled myself for anything, just based off thoughts that I'm having while thinking about where I'm at in the book thus far and what I think might end up happening. But so far, pretty good, and I'm hoping to finish it up very quickly. It has been a super quick and fast-paced read, which I always appreciate. It did not take me long into this one before I was hooked on it, so I have enjoyed picking it up any chance I get, as this week/weekend has been chaos and will be chaos for the rest of this week, but I am enjoying it, and I'm hoping to finish it up in the next day or so before I come back in for my next update. We'll see what happens. Thrillers and the second half of the book can sometimes let me down in terms of plot twists and the guesses that I take and the assumptions that I make and where the story ends up going, so I always get nervous after hyping a book up so hard in the first half of it to be let down in the back half, but we'll see how this one is. I'll hop back in here very soon though to chat some more. Hello. This is my first time filming a vlog clip with like my desk actually being set up, so that's very exciting. It is a mess right now. Everything is a mess just with wedding planning stuff. So I'm in survival mode. We're just making it. I need to make it for a couple more days with prep work, and then it'll finally be the wedding day and everything is going to be great. But I'm here also because I have still been reading amidst the chaos of my life and finishing books for Staijah's birthday vlog. In my last clip, I mentioned that I was really enjoying this one, and I ended up giving it 2 stars, which I was so disappointed about. I flew through this book so quickly. I was hooked on it. Very enjoyable. Such an interesting and captivating thriller. However, I could have seen that quote-unquote plot twist coming from a mile away, and I honestly felt like the ending was super rushed and almost a cop-out. I don't know if there were enough clues that made the suspense of who was behind everything actually make sense. I'm not surprised that it was who was playing with our professor Elizabeth Davis, but I don't quite understand the motivation behind why, because it's not like she wasn't a victim in the first place, so why someone felt the need to get revenge on her specifically when she was a scared teenager who went through something very traumatic. So I ended up giving this one 2 stars. Honestly, I finished the last page and I was angry, I was upset, and I'm not quite sure why it had to end the way that it did. First 70% awesome. The last little bit I just felt was super rushed, and I could feel my interest waning as I got closer to the end, because I kind of missed some of those details and the tension that we got at the beginning of the book that I feel kind of fizzled out toward the end. So sorry, Staijah. I do still plan to read V. Keelan's other thriller on my shelf, but 2 stars to this one. It's probably going to go into my unhaul pile, unfortunately. But with that being said, sorry, that was harsh. I have also started Babymoon or Bust by Ava Hunter, and so far this is just such a fun summary read. I am listening to it on audio and am already 70-ish pages into it, so I'm gonna go ahead and give y'all an update because that way I can just zoom through the rest of this one and finish it up hopefully by tomorrow afternoon. But this is about our 2 main characters, Solomon and Tessie. They both end up at this bar outside of Nashville, which is such a coinky dink because that is where I live, and they end up having a one-night stand. Solomon has no idea that Tessie ends up getting pregnant from their little tryst until 6 months later when he sees her on TV doing an interview with her interior design company, and he wants to make things right. He wants to go talk with her. He wants to figure out how to make things work the best way for their child that he didn't know about. She tried to find him but never found him, so he had no idea that she was pregnant until almost her 3rd trimester. He ends up somehow on this baby moon with her, and they're not getting along right now. They are very much not friends right now, I would say. Tessie's very much anxious and stressed out about all that's going on, and I think that Solomon being there kind of threw her off, but they are determined to figure out a way to make things work in the next 3 days, most likely that being via co-parenting because they're not a couple. But I have a feeling that the sparks are starting to fly, that they are going to very quickly fall in love, because how can you not fall in love with somebody while on a tropical and romantic vacation? Very much enjoying this one so far. I love the humor. I think that Tessie is such a bubbly and optimistic character, even though her job situation kind of sucks and she had planned to be pregnant and have this child and raise this baby on her own. She is such a light, and it's very fun to read from her perspective. I also enjoy, of course, reading from Solomon's perspective. He's a little bit more grumpy. He has been through a lot. His wife passed away, and in the 7 years, I think, since she has been gone, he has had a really hard time kind of getting back out there. He has very much been a loner, lives in Alaska, and is still a good guy and wants to figure out how to make this work with Tessie. So far so good. Hoping to finish this one up by tomorrow so that I can move into Enchantra and binge read that very quickly, because this vlog is coming up on my wedding day. So I am getting a little bit frantic in all areas of my life, but especially with this video. So we're gonna make it work and it's gonna be great. But I will hop back in here once I finish this one and we'll chat. I get excited when I read books that mention Nashville, so this one has been very fun so far. I just finished Babymoon or Bust by Ava Hunter, and very happy to say that I have to give this book 5 stars. I don't typically read the accidental or surprise pregnancy or one-night stand tropes, but 2 out of the last 2 romance books that I've read with this trope in it have been 5 stars. So maybe I like the trope more than I think I do, but this book was absolutely adorable. One of my 2025 favorites. I giggled throughout this one. My heart just yearned for the couple's happiness. I was rooting for them. I wanted them to be happy together or individually, both really, and I wanted them to do what was right for their baby, which they definitely did. If you are looking for a book that blends summer vacation vibes with winter vibes, I would recommend this one. Solomon, our main male character, is from Alaska, and Tessie ends up going home with him after their vacation to kind of figure out what life might look like together. And in Alaska, snow tends to come pretty early. There is a blizzard in this book, but you also balance that with like these very fun summer romance vibes, and you kind of get the best of both worlds with this one in terms of the setting and the seasons that these characters' stories take place in. And I just thought that it was so much fun. I guess I am starting to like this trope more than I thought I did, so soaking it up while I can. Genuinely love this one. I love Tessie as our female main character. She was hilarious, headstrong, knew what she wanted, and very much fought for herself in the end. And Solomon was such a cup of sunshine. He's very burly and grumpy on the outside, but when he fell fast and he fell hard, and it's so evident in his protective nature toward Tessie, and I just truly loved them. Staijah, I can see why you love this book. I know why you got this for me now a couple years ago, and I am glad that I finally read it. It's been on my shelf for way too long unread. So I'm very glad to have checked this one off my unread list, but I'm also glad to have fallen in love with it in the process, and I do plan to keep this one on my shelves. I kind of wish that I had tabbed it. Honestly, I don't have time to do so in this current season of my life. I might reread it someday, and if I do, then I will definitely tab it because I just had so much fun with it. Which leads us into our final book for this vlog, which my plan is to binge in the next 24 hours, and that is Enchantra by Kaylee Smith. This one I do need to tab because I tabbed Phantasma and have so many fun memories of doing that when I was reading that book, so I will be doing the same with this one. I also plan to listen to the audiobook as I did with Phantasma because it was such a wonderful experience. Also, tomorrow will be my last full day of wedding prep that I have to do, so I'll be listening to this while I organize and pack for the honeymoon and figure out what the heck is going to be happening on Saturday for our wedding. But this one I have very high hopes for. Not quite sure what it's about. I don't really need to know. All I know is that it's about our main character's sister from the first book, and then I'm guessing that it also has another type of fantasy Hunger Games vibe game inside of it that's probably deadly, and we fall in love in the process. So looking forward to diving into this one later today and hopefully binging it. I anticipate it being a super quick read. The chapters look pretty short overall, a little bit longer than the chapters in the first book, I think, but hopefully it's still a very quick read. The text in this book is pretty big, very nice sized, so I'm not super worried about it. We'll start it tonight probably while I'm relaxing and taking a break from wedding stuff, and I'll update y'all tomorrow morning with a synopsis because I truly don't know what this one is about and my thoughts on the book, but hopefully I love it because I did really enjoy Phantasma. And now that I've already been in this world, at least for one book, I think that it might be easier for me to get into the story since I still remember Phantasma and am very familiar with the world and the world building and just kind of what's going on in this storyline. So should be a good time, but I'll update y'all very soon with my thoughts. Coming back to y'all from my desk, which is where I have been doing some wedding prep stuff while listening to Enchantra by Kaylee Smith, and I am really enjoying this one so far. I knew I would, especially after loving Phantasma. It was so easy to get into this one and kind of pick up on this world that we enter upon reading this series. We are in the real world, but there's also very much this element of fantasy, of course, and magical realms and darkness and hellish games going on, and this one is very addicting. I have already read 200 pages since starting it last night, and most of that has been since getting to my fiance's house this morning and getting some wedding stuff done, but I'm very much enjoying this. This is about our main character, Genevieve, who has been receiving and writing correspondence with this man since her mother passed away. Genevieve is a specter, I believe, is what her power is. I'm trying to confirm that. For some reason that sounds both right and wrong. Let me see if I can confirm really fast. I want to say that she is a specter, and she's writing to this man who she thinks, just based off correspondence that her mom used to have with him, could also be the same thing that she is and could end up maybe helping her out or making her feel less alone since her mother passed away. But she ends up finding this house where this family lives on the night that their yearly game called The Hunt begins. This family that she wants to find has been trapped by this devil for the past at least 15 years, I want to say, in a bargain with this devil to help rescue their mother from some sickness that she has been diseased with for the last 15 years. But every year, in order to get kind of the antidote to keep her from passing away from the disease, they have to all play this game for the devil's pleasure, where they kill each other. There's like 8 siblings and they're all fighting to be the winner, and they're immortal beings, so they come back eventually after the game ends. Genevieve is not though, and so she gets stuck at this house the night that the game is supposed to start, and the only way that she is going to be rescued from a really bad fate just right off the bat is by marrying one of the siblings whose name is Rowan, and as a team she has some extra safety, and maybe having two of them can help them win this round, and Genevieve can be safe because if she gets killed, she is not coming back. That's what this one's all about. Very much giving the same vibes as Phantasma, very much giving those Hunger Games vibes that the first book reminded me of. The Hunger Games and Red Queen combined, really. I really feel that when reading these books. So addicting, so fun. There has not really been a ton of spice yet, which I'm surprised about. A little bit of a slower burn, but obviously there's a lot going on with the plot. One thing that I love about these books so much in this duology is that there is so much intensity in the plot that I don't even think I need a romance to be enjoying this one. Obviously, I love good romance in my books. I love watching the tension and the chemistry and the pining between two characters, but just the whole concept of these different games that happen in both Phantasma and Enchantra are so interesting that I'm just here for that storyline, honestly. I love Genevieve. She is a very strong and independent female main character. A little bit stubborn at times, but I do very much love her. And Rowan is very great as well. Has not done anything to cross any lines with Genevieve. They're not friends right now, but you can definitely tell that they're kind of feeling attraction toward each other, so I am very much enjoying it. I anticipate this one being another 5-star read, and I think the large reason I didn't give Phantasma 5 stars back when I read it was simply because it took me so long to kind of get into the storyline of it in terms of mixing real world with fantasy elements. I just have a hard time sometimes with the fantasy genre because of those otherworldly things going on. Has not been the case with this book so far, and I'm excited to finish it up. My audiobook says I have like 2.5 hours left, so it should be easy enough to finish tonight or tomorrow morning so I can wrap up this video. But so far, super fun, and I really think that Kaylee Smith is going to become an auto-buy author after this book. He gives her the nickname Trouble, and I just for some reason thought it was so cute. I just finished Enchantra and I'm giving this one 4.5 stars. Staijah has been yelling at me for weeks to read it, and I'm glad that I finally did. This book did not come out that long ago, but I do feel like I should have read it sooner just because I did enjoy Phantasma so much and have been eagerly awaiting this book. I'm also here to share that according to Goodreads, book 3 comes out in December of this year, which I'll be very excited to get my hands on. But I loved this book. As I mentioned in my last clip earlier today, I just really enjoyed the plot of these stories, the intense action and the games that Kaylee has created in this world, and I had such a fun time following Genevieve and her relationship with Rowan, but mostly just her development as a character and all that she goes through in this one, and just watching her come out stronger in the end, even though so much happens to her. I so love this one. Such a wonderful blend of real world and fantasy that for my non-super heavy fantasy self, it was perfect. I really feel like this is a series that is so much more fun to go into without knowing too much about it. Definitely check trigger warnings for this series, but overall it's just such a wild ride and something that I think is better experienced when you don't know what to expect, and I mean that in the best way. So interesting. Love the romance elements, and I think the blend of romance and plot is so well done. I loved it. 4.5 stars. The only reason that it is not a perfect 5-star read for me is that there was some confusion on my end at the end of the book, just with what happens. That's kind of like their third act conflict, which was so heartbreakingly sad. It was cleared up in the end, but I was kind of confused at first and had to go back and kind of reread to give myself more context. Maybe I just blacked out during it, I don't know, but not quite a 5-star read, but so wonderful. I loved this one, which does officially conclude this reading vlog in honor of Staijah's birthday. This video should be coming out on the day of, so make sure you go show her YouTube channel some love. Let her know that she is so celebrated and loved. Wish her happy birthday. Give her all the support To give a quick recap of the 3 books that I read in honor of Staijah, which overall went very well because I don't typically have a ton of 4.5 or 5-star reads in the same video. I'm very excited about them, very happy with that. But to give a quick rundown, I read Someone Knows by V. Keelan. This one is a thriller. I loved the first half. The back half made me mad, and I gave this one 2 stars in the end. I also read Babymoon or Bust by Ava Hunter, and this one was a 5-star read. One of my top favorite books of 2025 so far. This one was so cute, and I am still thinking about it even though it's been a couple days since I finished it. And then finally, of course, I read Enchantra by Kaylee Smith. Still have no idea if I'm pronouncing that book title right, but I think it's close enough. 4.5 stars to this one. So fun, so wonderful. I loved it, and overall I would very much consider this vlog a success. I got to knock off 3 books from my physical TBR while also reading 3 books that Staijah has also read and really enjoyed. Could not ask for a better way to end this vlog. Happy birthday to you, Staijah, if you're watching this today. I love you so much. I'm so very thankful for you, and hopefully I will get to see you very soon. But that is all that I have for today's video. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next one.